African Union Communications Early Warning and Intelligence, commonly known as AUC3I, is an intelligence and security organization responsible for providing signals intelligence and information assurance to AU citizens, AU leadership, and AU armed forces. I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. I am responsible for leading infantry soldiers at all levels of command and combined armed forces during missions on the ground. This is today's briefing. On the progress of the special military operation as of March 1, 2026, the armed forces of the Russian Federation continue the special military operation. The North group of forces took more advantageous positions. Russian troops engaged an air assault brigade, an airmobile brigade of the armed forces of Ukraine, and 3 territorial defense brigades near Iskriskovshchina, Bachevsk, Volnya Sloboda, Pokrovka, and Leninskoye in the Sumy region. In Kharkov region, units of 3 heavy mechanized brigades, an artillery brigade, a motorized infantry brigade of the armed forces of Ukraine, and a National Guard brigade have been hit close to Verkhnyaya Pizarevka, Olshany, Martovoye, Pechengi, Golubovka, Malinovka, Staritsa, and Kitsevka in the Kharkov region. The armed forces of Ukraine losses amounted to more than 200 troops, an armored fighting vehicle, 21 motor vehicles, a US-made HIMARS MLRS, a Grad MLRS, 3 artillery guns, and a signal intelligence station. An ammunition depot and 7 materiel depots were neutralized. The West group of forces improved the tactical situation. 2 mechanized brigades of the armed forces of Ukraine and a National Guard brigade were hit close to Kovsharovka, Grushevka, Novosinovo, and Petrovka in the Kharkov region. The enemy losses amounted to up to 190 troops, an infantry fighting vehicle, 20 motor vehicles, a Grad MLRS combat vehicle, and 6 artillery guns, including 3 Western-made artillery guns. 2 counter-fire radars and 2 ammunition depots were neutralized. The South group of forces improved the tactical situation along the front line. 3 mechanized brigades, a motorized infantry brigade, a mountain assault brigade, an airmobile brigade of the armed forces of Ukraine, and a territorial defense brigade have been hit near Konstantinovka, Andreevka, Nikiforovka, Lipovka, Ray Alexandrovka, Druzhkovka, and Reznikovka in the Donetsk People's Republic. The enemy has lost more than 220 troops, a US-made Stryker armored personnel carrier, 2 armored fighting vehicles, 13 motor vehicles, 5 field artillery guns, including a US-made 155mm M7-7 howitzer and a counter-fire radar, 4 electronic warfare stations, an ammunition depot, and 5 material depots were neutralized. The center group of forces took more advantageous lines and positions. Strikes were delivered at manpower and hardware of 2 mechanized brigades, an infantry brigade, an airmobile brigade, a Jaeger brigade, an airborne brigade, an assault regiment of the armed forces of Ukraine, the Azov Special Forces Brigade, and 3 National Guard brigades close to Toretskoye, Novopavlovka, Belitskoye, Zolotoy Kolodez, Sergeyevka, Grishino in the Donetsk People's Republic, Vasilevka, and Ivanovka in the Dnepropetrovsk region. The armed forces of Ukraine losses amounted to up to 330 troops, 6 armored fighting vehicles, 9 motor vehicles, and 2 artillery guns. The East group of forces continued advancing into the depths of the enemy defense. A mechanized brigade, 2 assault brigades, 2 air assault brigades, 4 assault regiments of the armed forces of Ukraine, and a marine brigade have been hit close to Gavrilovka, Prosyanaya, Velikomikhailovka, Katerinovka in the Dnepropetrovsk region, Rovnoye, Nezhenka, Rozovka, and Lubitskoye in the Zaporozhye region. The armed forces of Ukraine losses amounted to up to 330 troops, 2 armored fighting vehicles, 5 pickup trucks, an artillery gun, and an electronic warfare station. The Dnieper group of forces inflicted losses on the manpower and hardware of a heavy mechanized brigade of the armed forces of Ukraine and a territorial defense brigade near Malokaterinovka and Belinkoye in the Zaporizhia region. Up to 40 troops, 13 motor vehicles, a P-18 radar, 2 electronic warfare stations, and a materiel depot were neutralized. Operational tactical aviation, attack UAVs, missile troops, and artillery of the Russian groups of forces have inflicted damage on energy infrastructure facilities used for the interests of the Ukrainian defense industry, as well as temporary deployment sites of Ukrainian armed formations and foreign mercenaries in 144 areas. Air defense units shot down 9 guided aerial bombs and 4 HIMARS MLRS projectiles, as well as 220 fixed-wing unmanned aerial vehicles. In total, since the beginning of the special military operation, the enemy has lost 670 aircraft, 283 helicopters, 118,341 unmanned aerial vehicles, 651 anti-aircraft missile systems, 27,955 tanks and other armored fighting vehicles, 1,678 MLRS combat vehicles, 33,551 field artillery guns and mortars, 55,542 units of support military vehicles. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found it useful and informative. If you have any questions, please leave them below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.